Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for stopping by. Thank you to all my subscribers. Thank you to those who view my videos. Thank you to those who like my videos. I appreciate you so much. I just wanted to show you in these tutorials how I take dupes and I make them my own. So this is another dupe video, but I wanted to show you how I changed it to make it my very own. Now, perennial is my theme for this year. So I'm putting up pieces that I can keep up throughout the year, just make a few changes, add or take away or both to get the look that I'm going for the entire year. So I think it's coming out pretty well. I hope you do. And I hope you see something that will inspire you. So getting started, I'm starting with some epoxy resin. I'm taking this epoxy resin and I'm going to add it to this mold that I've had for so long. And I finally thought of something to do with it. Now, this is a dupe that I had seen on Pinterest. I'm a huge Pinterest fan, and so most of the dupes that I find are going to be from Pinterest. So I'm taking some tumbling blocks, doing my normal thing, putting three together, and then adding three sets of fours, and I'm building until I get the desired size or height that I want. So I'm doing three because these are going to be candle holders, or these are the base for the candles. So these are tumbling blocks. If you're going to build them 6 high, which is what I did, you'll need 3 boxes. If you only want to do 2 high, which is fine, that's all you need, you just need 1 box. So here I'm adding the feet. And now I'm taking those molds that I let dry to a point where they're still flexible, but they will need to cure some more. And I'm just adding some E6000 and adding those to my candles. Now this, again, I saw on Pinterest, but this is not going to even hold a candle to the ones I saw on Pinterest. But this is something, that you can do, and it's simple and very, very cheap. So I'm adding these embellishments to also the base of my candles, the smaller ones. The larger ones, of course, I'm putting on the candles. And again, just using E6000, just very simple. Now I'm adding these to the candles before I paint, because painting them and then adding these to the candles, they will not hold. They will fall off. So I'm adding these. And since I'm going to be painting the embellishments the same color, it won't matter much. But even if you weren't, you would just need a smaller paintbrush just to paint the embellishments if you want to do those a different color. So it would not matter, just to the point where you want to make sure your embellishments hold, and they will not hold on top of paint. Not on the candles anyway. They may do so on the wood, but not on the candles. But anyway, this is a dusk chalk paint that I had, and I wanted to use. I thought about white, but I knew I didn't really want to do this in white. So I'm going to do this in the blue, the dusk, rather. And I always keep a paint rag near me. I have paint rags that I use just for painting. Always keep them wet and near me when I'm painting. So after painting the bases here, I'm seeing some discrepancies. I need to do some fill-ins here where I've dropped these a million times over. So now I'm going to just take my heating gun. I don't want to melt. I just want to soften some wax. So this is some soy wax that I had. Some beads. I just drop them in here and just take some heat and just soften them just enough to work with it so that I can go ahead and do some fill-ins. Now I'm just taking some sandpaper and just sanding that down. You can use your fingers, but sometimes it just kind of falls apart with your fingers. So I prefer to just sand it. This way I know. And I just sand it until I feel it smooth. Now again, E6000 or super glue will hold that emblem in place. But now I'm taking the same paint that I painted the base with, and I'm painting the candles. Now these are just battery operated candles. Although they are made of wax, they still are much safer to work with. Now here I'm taking some gold paint and adding a little bit of black to get an antique gold look, because I want to get the same color as the feet of the base. So here I just add my black until I get that same look. Excuse me. And so now that I've got that look, I did add a little bit of water, which I really didn't need to do, but I did. And here I'm just staining the candles as well as the base. There's just the emblems, just the emblems. And it turned out the perfect color. So after staining them all, this is what they look like when all is said and done. We got 3. Now you could have done one larger than the next so that you can have 3 different sizes, but I chose to do them all one size. But like I said, this doesn't hold a candle to the ones that I've seen on Pinterest, but it's still a nice dupe, just something very elegant to have. Now on my next design, this is a simple design. These are some vases that I painted a while ago. And so now I'm taking off all of the florals that I've had in these for some time now. And I'm giving these a new look, a different change. I'm not going to repaint them, but I am going to take these. Now, these came from trees that I had, some house trees that had been in this house for decades. And so I pulled them apart, pulled the trees apart, took all the leaves. And some of those leaves you saw me pull apart from the vase came from these trees. And so I cut these tree trunks. They were little mini tree trunks for the trees. I cut these in half. There were 2. One was a little bit thinner than the other, and I cut them both in half, so I had 4 pieces. So I'm just coloring or just painting half of the one of the larger ones and one of the smaller ones. Just painting half. This way, if I decide I want to turn it over and just have all one color, not white, but all just the color of the trunk, then I can do that. So I'm going to let these dry. I have to give them 2 coats. And this is what it looks like. So like I said, I painted half of the larger one and half of the smaller one. And this is the half of the larger one that I painted, and the other half of the smaller one that I didn't paint. This way, like I said, and then those are some other pieces that I've just added. And this is the smaller one, half of the white one that I painted, and then the larger one that I didn't paint. And then, like I said, I added some other pieces that I had. And this is a very simple decor. You can use this all year long. Winter, fall, summer, spring. Perfect decor. Okay, here are florals that I had dyed and painted. And this is a pool noodle I cut in half. And then I took and I spray painted them black. You can spray paint whatever color you want. You don't have to spray paint them at all. And these are some of those greenery that I had told you about, that I had pulled out of the trees that I pulled apart. But I'm going to tell you a secret. I am going to end up taking this greenery out because when I finished putting this together, I did not like the way it looked. And so I had to come up with another idea, which I did and liked it much better. So here I'm taking some of the florals that I painted and stained, and I'm just adding stems to them. Now, keep in mind, always save stems. Don't matter if you have fresh flowers, fake flowers, whatever flowers you have, save your stems. I save every flower I have, even if it's falling apart. If I can do something with it to fix it or make it look like something decent without throwing it away, I will. It has to be pretty smushed up for me to throw it away. So here I'm just speeding it up, adding stems and florals, and then adding them to one side. And I start off what I do to one side doing to the other, but because my florals are so limited and I don't have the same floral to go from one side to the next, and plus it's so time consuming. And then at the same time, I don't necessarily need them to look exactly alike, long as they aesthetically look pleasing. So I just go ahead and just at some point just start adding them and filling in and making sure the shape on both are as similar as possible. Now I find hanging them works, so I'm going to hang them and then finish them, and here's the finished results. And this is what they look like. Mantle swags. Again, this was a Pinterest. The ones that were on Pinterest were gorgeous. They were for the fall, though. They were for fall and the Thanksgiving holidays. But I decided to do a perennial, something that will go through the fall, winter, because I wanted to do rustic. And so that's why I painted all my florals in a darker, very, very earthy color, or colors, because they're different colors. And then added some kind of ivory white florals that I, again, painted. And I also painted the candles in an ivory white that I had just took some white and created. So thank you again all for stopping by, for joining my channel, for stopping, for subscribing, for taking the time to be with me. I appreciate you all. Happy holidays to everyone. I'll be seeing you soon, and God bless all.